Hello folks, this is David Berry and today we are going to go over Project 1 in Advanced MasterCAM. This is an exercise in drawing a solid model in MasterCAM, and this is the part we're going to be working on. Now with designing solids, the key here is to build these parts feature by feature, and as you'll see through this drawing you'll get a better grasp of what I mean. This particular part has several features. I would first start with what I consider the biggest or main feature, and in this case I would say it's this line here, this line, this diagonal line, this arc, this diagonal line, and this line. And I'm going to extrude that up a ½ inch to create the first feature. So let's go ahead and jump over to MasterCAM. So here I am. We'll hit F9 to bring up our crosshairs. I'm going to come to levels here, and I'm going to go ahead and organize some stuff here. So level 1 I'm going to call CAD, and that is any CAD I'm using to create the solids. I want to make sure it's on a separate layer of the solid itself. So let's go 2 and we'll go solids. And for now those are the only 2 layers. Later on I'll create a 3rd layer and explain why I'm doing that. Let's go ahead and activate layer 1 and let's go ahead and start drawing. So first up is the rectangular shape, and the rectangular shape is basically representing this vertical line, this line back up here. We're going to draw shapes and then come back and later trim away what we don't need. This particular rectangle will be 2 inches by ½ inch. So we got a 0.5 is what we're going to put on this value here. We have 2.0 we're going to put on this value here. Make sure these guys are 0. We want square corners, and we want this origin. We're going to snap it right there to the origin. Now some of you may be saying, why aren't we using the upper left hand corner? Well, when I'm drawing a part, I'm not really concerned about the machining process yet. I'm more worried about drawing, and when I have symmetry I tend to like to use it as one of the axes. In this case it would be the x-axis has sort of a symmetry on it, so I'm going to use that as my symmetry. We have our square here. Next is going to be the circle. We need to draw a 688 thousandths circle radius at 3.813 from the origin. Be right here. Oh, sorry. We'll go ahead and close that. We don't need that. So let's go ahead and we'll draw a circle. We need to put a value in here first because it doesn't know what to do. I'm going to put it in here implicitly. So we'll go 0.688 as a radius, 3.813 on the x, y we'll put 0, and we'll just hit enter until z of 0. Okay, that didn't work. Put it in the wrong spot. So let's try that again. So 0.688. 3.813 here. Oh, put 913. 813. Enter. 0 for y, 0 for z. And there. Now we got it in the right location. Right over here where we wanted it. So I'm going to click Alt and F1. And that's going to bring everything into zoom. Now I'm going to draw a line from here to here. But here's something important. We want to disable Quadrant. No. To get to the auto cursors, you right click on the screen, click on auto cursors, and this pops up. You want to disable Quadrant because you don't want it to snap to the quadrant. The quadrants are 0, 90, 180, and 270 of a circle. We want this to snap tangently. So we're going to come in here until this snaps like that, and now that line is tangent to that circle. Draw another one over here, and snap and tangent. Great. Now we're going to trim away what we don't need. Icon for trimming is right here. We're going to select highlight this one, make sure it's in blue. We're going to just delete away what we don't want. And there we go. We have now our first CAD for our first feature. Now I'm going to activate layer 2 now because I want, when I create the solid, I want the solid to be on layer 2. So let's go solid, extrude, select this chain, make sure auto chain's all the way around. You only have one green arrow. If you have a red arrow sticking off, coming off one of these sides or out here, that means your chain is not continuous. The endpoints do not match up. So we'll prove that. We're going to create a body. and we're going to come up 0.5 inches. I'm going the wrong direction. I want this to come up. So I'll just flip the direction. And there we go. We have our first feature, this base. So next I'm going to be drawing this wall. This wall is 2 inches wide by ½ inch again, and we're going to extrude it up to a total of 2.188. Now I don't want, let's open up our layers. You see I've got 6 entities on one, one on the other. And we're going to activate layer 1, and I do not want to draw on the same level as this CAD, because you don't want to edit, alter, or delete the CAD that you use to create the solid. You do that, it corrupts the solid, and you can no longer save the file before correcting the chain. So let's go ahead and turn the visibility on. I want to draw on top of this guy, so we're going to change from 3D to 2D. I'm going to click on level Z, this Z letter right here, left click on it, and I'm going to snap to the top, and you'll see that the value changes to 0.5. So now anything I draw is now 0.5 inches from 0. We're going to activate rectangular shape. It was 0.5 by 2.0. Make sure these are 0. Upper left hand corners are snap. And there we go. We have our square now sitting on top of our first feature. So now we'll take that chain, solid extrude, make sure it auto chains around, and this time instead of create body, we don't want an individual solid, we want to add to that solid. So it's add boss. We're going to do some math here. 2.188, and we already came up a ½ inch, so we need to go 2.188 and then subtract out the ½ inch that we've already done for 1.688, and there's our wall. Now we have still one solid. You want to make sure in your solid tree, if you don't see this, it's under View, Toggle Solid Manager. If you have, it may also be down here in your tabs. So solid, and you only want one solid with several features. Now we're going to draw this little stub that comes off the back. This stub is ½ inch by ½ inch. It's not showing, we're missing some dimensions here, but it's a ½ inch by ½ inch square that comes all the way up the back of the part. Now I want to bring my Z of Z back down to 0. So I'm just going to highlight this, type it in. The thing is now, I want to turn the visibility of the solid off. I'm going to create this square back down where this sketch is. They're going to be overlapping right here. I don't particularly care for that. While it's usually not a problem, it can cause problems, and so I like to avoid it. And the way to do that is to create another layer, another level. We'll just call this small square, or whatever else makes sense to you. We're going to make sure it's active. I'm going to draw a new rectangular shape. Well, you may get this too. You click rectangular shape, your screen is grayed out, or may not even be there at all, and you see this yellow box here. To get rid of that, hit escape until this renders, and you got to basically zero this stuff back out. It's a glitch, it's an error that's in the software, and that's how you work around it. So we're going 0.5 by 0.5. We're going to do upper right snap. We're going to snap it there. Now as you see, we have two overlapping CAD. Usually not a problem, but can be a problem. So I can turn the visibility of one off. Now I have nothing overlapping. Turn the visibility of 2 back on, and we're going to go ahead and extrude that. So solid, extrude that chain, approve it. We're going to make sure we add boss. We don't want to create a new solid body. Now on distance, we're going to click the auto cursor here. We're just going to snap to the top of the part, and it extrudes it all the way up for us. No math needed. So now we got this small square up the back. The next feature we're going to work on is this boss, this round slot. It's not really a slot, it's actually a pad. A boss is circular. We're going to put this pad in here, and it's 0.188 inches above this feature. So we got to get our drawing surface to come on top of here. So I'm going to rotate this around for me. And we're going to put our Z back up on top of this part. And we'll have a Z of 0.5. Now we're going to draw that pad up here. Now, so let's go ahead and activate a circle. We know the radius is 0.688, and we're going to use the auto cursors to set the location of that. So we're going to hover over here until that arc right there highlights. And see that square pop in the middle? If that's not working for you, right click, auto cursors, and make sure arc center is activated. So we're going to snap over that, and boom, there's our circle. The next one we're going to need to be 1.5 inches over, right here. To do that, we're going to do X-form, translate, and we're going to select the circle. Now, if you see here, you can't really select the circle. MasterCAM likes to put priority on solids over arcs or lines. So make sure I select just that line, and you're going to be using this a lot in the future. You're going to come up here to where it says only. I'm going to select that, and we're going to highlight wireframe. So it'll only select points, lines, arcs, and splines. We'll approve that. Now it'll highlight the arc and not the solid. So let's highlight that arc. Hit enter. We're going to translate this, make a copy of it, negative 1.5 inches. And let's see, and you click this to see if it renders right. Now that's the wrong direction. This is the right direction. Actually, we can just put a whole value. You don't really need a negative. That's the way we want. Okay, so I'm going to look top down on this, and I'm going to draw a line now from quadrant to quadrant. So let's turn our auto cursor, let's turn our tangency off and activate our quadrant. So let's go here and see that's your quadrant snap, and quadrants are 0, 90, 270, or 180 and 270 of a circle or an arc. Oh, there's the right snap. Snap here and snap there. So now all we do is come back and trim away what we don't want, which is these items here. And now we have the sketch drawn on top. So let's go ahead and extrude this. The value for the extrude is 0.188. It's the size of this radius. We're going to make sure we add boss, not create body. Now, if you end up doing create body, what you'll see is you'll see this term solid. You'll start seeing multiple solids. When I go to do this slot on top, if I added 2 solids, it's only going to cut the top solid. It's not going to go through the whole thing. You want to make sure you only have 1 solid. And if you have multiple solids, it's because somewhere you had actually done create body rather than add boss. Now I'm going to switch to wireframe here because I want to be able to come in here and select this chain here. I'm going to do an offset, because instead of recreating this whole center slot curve, I'm just going to go ahead and offset this curve, the distance between these two, which is this radius minus this divided by 2, or that radius. So we'll go X form, offset contour. We'll select that contour. I don't want that direction. I actually want the other direction. And the value is 0.688 minus 0.625 divided by 2. Because 0.625 is diameter, we want the radius of it. Hit enter. 0.3755 is the value, and we want it in. We'll prove that. Now it's at the bottom of this boss or the pad, so we want to move it to the top. So let's X-form translate. Select these 4 items. We want to make sure we're moving them, and we're going to move it 0.188 in the Z direction. And as you see now, it is now sitting on top of our solid. So the next step is solid, extrude. We'll select that chain, prove it. This time we're going to cut the body. You see in our preview nothing is happening because this blue arrow is going the wrong direction. You can either grab this blue arrow and drag it down, or you can click here, which flips its direction. Right here flips the direction, and we want it to go through everything. So we'll just click through all, and it cuts a hole all the way through it. And there's the slot. Okay, so now we only have a couple more features left, and it's this hole, this fillet here, and all the fillets all over the body. The next part I'd do is actually this large fillet, because we can use this large fillet to actually locate this hole. So let's go ahead and add this 750 thousandths fillet. So on solids, fillet, constant radius fillet. On our solid selection, we want to make sure only edge select. We want to make sure these two, this is a body select, we want it off. This is a face select, we want it off. We only want edge select. We want to select that edge. We want to have a value of 0.75. Nice preview here, and we'll go ahead and prove it. Okay, so now we have only two features left, which is the hole that goes through here, through this wall, and also the fillets everywhere. Now, right now, when we draw, we're drawing on world coordinate system's top. So everything's drawn in this XY orientation. We actually need to draw on this face. So a couple things we need to do. First, I'm going to change my Z back to 0. And I need to draw what would be the left side of this part. So we'll do WCS, left. So when I click this icon, I'm now looking at the left side of the part, and this is now the XY plane I'll be drawing on. So let's go ahead and create a circle. The diameter of that circle is 0.563. So put that value in here, 0.563. We'll use the auto snap of arc center to place it for us. And there it is. Now I've changed my Z value to 0. If I had left it at 0.5, we'd be drawing basically out on the end of this feature. I really wanted it here. It's really, they both work because it's going to take this circle and cut it through the whole thing. But I just want to be able to draw on this feature. So let's go solid, extrude. We'll pick that circle. We're going to do a cut body through all and approve it. There we go. We have our circle all the way through. So last thing to do is we need to go through and put fillets on the whole thing. So let's do solids, fillets, constant radius fillets with only edge select. We don't want face or solid body. We're just going to go through here and start selecting our edges. So we want this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, that one, and that one. We'll prove it. We're going to change our value to 0.188 and prove that. And voila, there are all our fillets. And that is the end of this part. Have any questions? Let me know.